Hi there! Welcome to Urbinary, the podcast cataloging the everyday and extraordinary in the city.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Urbinary. I am Anita and today I'm here with Giulia Castaldo. Urban planner by education, she is a postdoc researcher at Politecnico di Milano within the Department of Architecture and Urban Studies, DASTU. Her research interests align with the nature-based solutions strategies and projects addressing territorial and urban societal challenges. Currently, she is involved in the polysocial awarded project NB South, Nature-Based Solutions for Climate Resilience in Cities of the Global South. Additionally, she serves as a communication expert for sustainability and innovation, collaborating with both university and private companies. Giulia discusses the exploration of potential intersections between nature-based solutions, NBAs, and tactical urbanism in urban planning and design. She highlights the adoption of a qualitative approach, including interviews and desk analysis, to understand the challenges and benefits of integrating these approaches and bridging the gap between theory and practice. Hi, Giulia. Welcome.
Good morning, Anita. Good morning to our listeners, and thanks a lot for the invitation.
Thank you.
I'm glad for the opportunity to talk about this with you, with Urbinary. And I just would also mention that this investigation was conducted even in collaboration with another urban scholar, Beatrice Galimberti. That's actually, she introduced me into the practices of tactical urbanism and incremental processes for public space regeneration.
Urbinary.
To start with, could you mention some practices where nature-based solutions and tactical urbanism intersect that inspired your research?
Well, we have come into contact with several projects, but our focus on practice has been then particularly centered on the projects of the NGO Instituto Caminabilidade, active in several Brazilian cities, and those of the Nigel Group, a group of placemakers that is active here in our country, in Italy, both in the contexts of Naples and Milan. Specifically, in the case of Istituto Caminabilidade, one example was the Bruno Covas Linear Park in Sao Paulo, a linear park along one of the banks of the local river called Rio Pineiros. I hope that I didn't make mistakes in the pronunciation. So Istituto Caminabilidade got into this project. But firstly, we have to say that in São Paulo, there are many rivers and canals, but most of them have been covered. The two main rivers that you can still see have been rectified to generate energy. And the sides of these rivers became expressways passing inside the city. So people's relationship with rivers have changed after such developments because the water is no longer directly accessible. And now there's been an ongoing project from the state governments on depolluting the river's water and developing water treatment facilities for the surrounding areas, which is depolluting the river's water and creating water treatment systems for the surrounding neighborhoods. So previously, wastewater from the neighborhoods ended up directly in the river without purification. And now the river restoration project that is an ongoing project is called Novo Rio Pineiros. And this process is ongoing and has been taken many years to happen. And one of its banks became the linear park Bruno Covas. This park currently lacks accessibility because it is somehow isolated from its contexts by two expressways and has only two pedestrian accesses. So, in this, Istituto Caminabilidade proposes a series of tactical urbanism intervention to make the park more accessible and increase walkability. So, creating an integration between nature-based solution as a linear park and tactical urbanism intervention to make accessible the park and to make even more pronounced the walkability inside the park.
Thank you. I think that the Sao Paulo case is very interesting. I would like to ask you, how did you proceed to analyze the success of such practices and what was your theoretical framework?
Well, we first have seen that these two approaches have more than something in common. So, first of all, these are two widespread approaches that are used commonly in urban regeneration. They take place mainly in public spaces. They benefit from participatory processes, and they both pay attention to the quality of a place. So, after this reflection on these aspects, we come up with two research questions. The first, are there any planning and design experiences that try to combine nature based solution and tactical urbanism? And what beneficial spillovers can arise from crossing these two approaches? So it starts as, how can I say, a dialectical process.
And what challenges do you think of when it comes to integrating nature based solutions and tactical urbanism? Is the time one of those with the tactical urbanism being associated with the short term while nature based solutions to long term?
Thanks, Anita. This is a very good question, actually. One of our conceptual frameworks is specifically related to time depths. Today, we know that many regenerations start from small prototypes, and if they work, they progressively scale up in wider and more complex processes. Some planning and design processes are working at the same time on temporary actions, mid-term and long-term plans, dismissing the logic of, how can I say, siloed time phases and embracing simultaneous time depths. And this is also the case of disintegration, in our opinion. From the insights that we got from our interviews, nature-based solution can help people to understand tactical urbanism as something more than ephemeral. When nature is incorporated into the process, it is clear the purpose that is to make it last longer. So generally, tactical urbanism is that is entirely the opposite, with a limited lifespan. But when this combination happens, it seems to be not this is the case. For what concern a challenge could be instead the cost of maintenance of nature. When we have tactical urbanism intervention that try to bring nature inside. These aspects come, for instance, from the interview with the placemakers group from Nigel. In some design processes, they met private and public actors who saw nature as a critical issue. In some cases, public administration see new plants and trees as a problem because they fear the burden of maintenance. For example, in one of their projects from Rome, Parco Donatella Colasanti, they made a Mediterranean garden with plants with low water demand because during the hottest months of the year, there was a little water available, and the association that took care of the park couldn't even use water from a public fontaine. This is something really simple, but it is something that we have to take into account in these kinds of processes that try to combine these approaches in new sorts of combination.
Thank you very much for the answer. I think that it is very interesting because it's showing the complexity and contradictions also of this kind of interventions.
Urbinary.
But let's now conclude. Let's tackle a crucial challenge, bridging the gap between academia and the broader community. How can we foster meaningful connections and collaboration to translate academic insight into real world impact?
I think improving our ability for scientific communication as researchers. That should be an aspect taught at every good researcher. I I participated. I made a specialization master in scientific communication, which has greatly helped me in my work as a researcher. But this not only brings the academic world closer to various audiences, but also means for us as researchers to have the opportunity to learn what it means to adopt a rational attitude towards problem. Namely, what does it mean? That we also have tolerance towards other ideas and to understand the possibility of alternative viewpoints on phenomena. And for me, equally important, that everyone can contribute to the advancement of knowledge.
Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks again for the invitation.
Urbinary.
And for our listeners, stay tuned for our next episode with the Janneke van der Leer. In the next episode, we are dealing with the Janneke as she explored the role of municipalities in implementing sustainability goals in the new urban districts in Sweden. Stay tuned to learn about the challenges they face in ensuring the realization of sustainability ambitions throughout the development process. Urbinary is produced in collaboration with Poly Radio, the official radio channel at Politecnico di Milano.
Urbinary, the podcast cataloging the everyday and extraordinary in the city.